NASCAR in its recent years has found itself touring across the country from coast to coast and everything that's in between. But for longtime fans, they will tell you that the birthplace and the heart of stock car racing is in the Southeast. And well, that's where we find ourselves tonight here at the Rockingham Speedway for the penultimate round of the regular season for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Hello, my name is Finny Kuna here with Connor Horn and Hunter Suppy, guys. Glad to have you with me as always, as we're back for another round of action here with this group of drivers. And as I mentioned, the season starting to wind down, at least for the regular one.
It's starting to wind down for sure, Finny, and this should be an interesting race with these Xfinity Series cars. And I'm pretty excited after what I saw Tuesday night at the Rock, and we'll see what we get tonight. And I'm pretty excited for them to come back to this track in real life, but we got to wait months for that. We'll get a precursor here tonight as that playoff cut line's tightening and tightening up, but we still have that extra race next week at Texas to make up after Daytona. Internet issues, or server issues, I should say, Hunter. It's getting down to the wire. There's a lot of drivers not safe whatsoever.
Yeah, looking at the point standings right now, some of the guys that are looking pretty good. Jeff Wright, +6 after last week's race at Chicagoland, and then you want to go back outside the top 20. John Forbes Jr., well, he hasn't made a few starts, so he's kind of in a must-win scenario. Well, actually, no, he won't even make it if he wins. But Justin Sogak, he's closing in on the top 20. Brody Falker has re-entered the top 20 in the standings. Blaze McKinney, he's going to have a rough night, so he's got to drive through before this race even begins, on top of losing 5 positions in the standings last week. Alex Bell lost 4 spots. Ben Pierce lost 3 spots as well. We're getting to the crunch time, Finian. We only got 3 races left. That's right, 3 races after the debacle with Texas earlier in the season. We'll go back next week on the off week for area. But so another race for these guys to kind of collect themselves together before the regular season ends.
Yeah, one final chance. Really, before you throw Talladega, I almost consider it a completely different race in itself. I mean, for a majority of these drivers, it is going to be a different race. Those that are good at plate racing, it's going to be their final chance to find themselves making their way into the playoffs. But as far as, the regular, normal, bread and butter tracks that we go through throughout the season, this is where it ends. This is your final chance to get up there and perform and get yourself into the postseason. As practice is starting to wind down here, currently we talk about Blaze McKinney. He's currently sitting very quickly on the top of the timing sheets in practice. And the number 87 machine behind him, Zach Carr. That's a name I haven't seen in quite a while. I'm sure he's been running quite a bit. I'm sure, Connor, you can elaborate on it. You and Hunter have been talking about the series for quite a while, but nice to see him also performing well up at the top in the 97.
He's back full-time in this series. He's had a quiet season. He's about, 6th, 7th in the points? He's actually 5th in the points. So he's had a quiet season, no wins, but he is full-time and has been running very solidly. And it's been great in qualifying, but tonight's going to be a very different challenge for qualifying for all these drivers. Besides the drivers with EOLs and drive-throughs, qualifying is going to be tough here as track has gone through surface changes in the past year or two for the Road to Pro races that come here at Rockingham. At this point, the high line might be a little bit more dominant. We kind of saw that on Tuesday Night Hunter as Braxton DeWee's high in the points. He's sliding around in that high line. That's how slick it's going to be tonight, I believe. But that high line, it's fast up there, but it's dangerous up there as well. We're going to see, I think, a few different lines in qualifying, and especially during the race.
Yeah, this should be interesting. We haven't been here since Season 3. Got to go all the way back to when Alan Elwood was a regular in the Pro Series. He won the last time out here from the pole. I believe he's the only driver to do so, if my memory is correct. Yes. David Weishart won the first ever race here, starting second. So basically, track position is going to matter if you're on the front row.
And as the session ticks over into qualifying, getting underway here, times are going to start getting put down. Zach Carr, one of the first drivers off pit lane and jumping onto the racing surface. See what the 97 can do if he can pretty much match his qualifying performance, end up second, maybe even first. See him up on the wall trying to get some speed build-up, momentum build-up in that 97 car.
And you do get only 1 lap at this track, even though it feels like a smaller track. It is a mile in length, so you do only have that 1 lap. He's going to go to the bottom of the racetrack. I'm expecting most drivers, I think, to go to the top, but he's going to go to the bottom line in 1 and 2, see what he does in 3 and 4. Once again, aiming for that big yellow line. It's a pretty good marker to aim for on the bottom of the racetrack. He got sideways off of turn number 4, though. It's going to hurt his pace, and usually you pull that below the yellow line on the front stretch to get some time out of it. 24.569 is off his practice time. Fastest for now, but a lot of times are about to go up.
A lot of times about to go up indeed as Hunter. We got Colin Fambro. He's coming across the start-finish line, the number 18 machine.
Yeah, Colin Fambro had a pretty solid outing his last time here at the Rock. He almost won in Season 2, came up a few positions short, and then he finished 6th his last time out, only led a lap. But he's led laps in both races here, and still looking for a win in the Pro Series, so riding in got a little bit too much there in turn 3, and that's going to cost him on his lap. So he's not familiar with starting in the front anyway. He started 18th last time out and managed to drive his way through the field. Blaze McKinney, he's got the drive-through, so it really doesn't matter where he qualifies.
Yeah,
He went
brownie
fastest
points.
anyways.
I was going to say it's just brownie points for him at this point, but a solid margin. You talked about Connor, you mentioned Zach Carr's time was off. He beat it by a tenth and a half, Zach Carr. So Blaze McKinney, solid job for him. We'll see if that will stand, at least for provisional poll. Again, just brownie points for him with the EOL pending. Got Matthew Bell. He's on a flying lap, and the number 43 machine sliding off of turn 2. These guys are slick out there.
The track temps in triple digits. Oh, he's really going to slide into the wall in turn number 3, but it is kind of interesting. The track's not overly hot. It's coming down a little bit because there is some shade over the track, but this is still a very slick racetrack, whether or not the track temp is high or not, and that's something these drivers are going to have to deal with as they run the bottom, run the top, try to figure out what line's better for the tires, but you also got to figure out which line is less slick because you're sliding all around this track with as many bumps as there are, so these drivers are going to have to figure out pretty quickly where their car works best as the 88 of Anna Sogak goes into the 4th position. It's actually surprising. A lot of drivers waiting, only 10 times down right now. I think people waited for this cloud, and we should see a lot more drivers in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese here again, a good run out of turn 4. Running that apron, which is allowed, 24.6. That's going to be 5th quickest.
5th quickest for him. We'll see if anyone can match that. Shane Abbey will come back to him in the 84. He's sliding in turn 3. I think quite a few guys are going to end up taking having no lap put down due to having issues. Seen a couple people mess up their laps. Justin Munsell in the number 6 machine. He's put down a solid lap in the number 6. Up into 3rd. We'll see if that will stand. It seems to be a pretty good time. Ray Slade out there getting warmed up. Philip Garner, he's on a flying lap in the number 11 out of turn 4. And he'll come flying down to the start-finish line, 24.6. That'll be good enough for 7th, as Bronson Stafford also gets up there into 6th place.
Yeah, a lot of drivers coming across the line now. Matthew Bell just came across in 17th. Jake Nichols is starting his lap. Most people are starting their lap. Rafe Slade is about to end his flying lap, and he's one of those drivers going to the high side. Seen a lot of drivers slide when they went to the high side. Once again, really slipping and sliding out the corner, but the drivers on the bottom even weren't steady. We saw the 97 have an issue. Slade's going to go 7th on the top, 7th on the board, not to the top, as pretty much everyone, it's a madhouse getting out of turn number 4 with 30 seconds to go.
David Weishart being one of the ones to get a lap time in at the last moment. Just 30 seconds remaining. 1 in Season 2. Starting P2 for the moment. Looking to add another win to his accomplished record here in the area.
James Carley comes across the line. Jake Nichols came across in 4th. Sky Elway will push Weiser and Nichols down. He will go into 2nd, and his qualifying is just about complete. Greg Mitchell is going to come across the line to start a lap, but unfortunately he waited way too long. He's not going to have enough time to get another lap in, so that's going to end up qualifying here at Rockingham. 24 drivers putting a time down, quite a few not able to get a time down just by having issues in qualifying. And then, on top of that, you have the EOLs to account for as well.
Yeah, a lot of EOLs tonight still. I think some drivers are here, some drivers aren't. I know Greg Mitchell had an EOL, so it didn't really matter too much for him anyways. Garrett Grant has an EOL. Shane Abbey, Rafe Slate, a few more drivers. Matt Kemp, Zach Nichols as well has one, so all those drivers have to serve one. And on top of that, like we mentioned, the 87 of Blaze McKinney has a drive-through, and we saw on Tuesday night when Edward Shearer had a drive-through, he went a lap and a half down, and that race went fully green, and he was never able to recover. So McKinney's going to be hoping for a quick yellow so he can get back on even terms with all these drivers.
Indeed, as we're broadcasting live throughout the social media platforms of YouTube and Twitch, just want to remind everyone to make sure you subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel, where you'll earn Area iRacing emotes in the chat and earn double channel points as a subscriber, just the cost of $5 a month. And we'll have a few minutes here in the warm-up before we get to our Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. Looking for a small or large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer? Well, look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 28 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomesinc.com to get started today, although today probably wouldn't be a good day with the hurricane going on in Florida, so we're hoping that all is well for all the Floridians down there. Jacob Bell doing his best in the admin tower. Travis Beckner racing while the hurricane's going on. That's peak Travis Beckner, which, by the way, if you recall, the last time there was a major hurricane to hit Travis Beckner, it was the Area 500 back in Season 3? Season 4? Forget what season it was. We've been doing this for a long time, but nonetheless, he wound up winning that race after surviving the hurricane and powering right through in the middle of this one.
I thought I just clicked his name. Why did it change over? I was trying to
Not
click.
Greg Mitchell.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is not Greg Mitchell. I can't even find where Beckner is in the 27 machine. I had to find him down the order. But yeah, you know it's funny, Hunter. I was actually just about to do an add the ad read if you weren't about to do that. I like that we're on the same wavelength. But looking at Travis Beckner, seeing what he can do, yeah, he's, from what I heard, he's having some trouble getting into the server, or potentially having trouble getting in. So hopefully things last for him. Nothing doesn't end up having an internet outage. That's always the risk when you have a hurricane, or power outage as well. So best of luck for him. He looks like he's got a quick car in the 27. And is he one of the drivers that has an EOL?
I don't believe so. I don't think he's had any issues in the Pro Series. The only issues he's had in the Pro Series is finishing the races. Last week was his first finish inside the top 20. That wasn't a victory. So we've been talking about it, how he's kind of been hit or miss, but he's starting to pick up momentum at the right time. Hopefully his internet can keep up with him tonight.
Yeah, finger crossed on that note. He's currently fastest in this warm-up session as it's actually about to finish, and we're about to get our Central Mobile Home starting grid.
About to get that underway here. Just about 30 drivers on the grid here for Rockingham. Get through our starting lineup. And there we go. So, starting on pole, we were just looking at it. Unfortunately, he's not going to be there for too long. The 87 of Blaze McKinney going to be starting in P1 next to him. James Scully in the number 7 is going to be lined up to him in second place.
The only thing, McKinney's consolation prize is getting the bonus point for the pole. Third position is going to go to the 33 of David Weishart. And behind that first row, Weishart trying to go get another victory at Rockingham, while Jake Nichols is trying to get his first Pro Series victory at Rockingham. He starts 4th.
And moving on back to 5th is going to be Jeff Wright in the number 48 machine. Next to him, Jarvis Beckner. We're just looking at him in the 27 car. Maybe he could get his first win. We'll see what he can do here starting from 6th.
Jeff Wright, the most recent winner in this series. Justin Munsell had a lap 2 crash last week. He'll try to recover starting 7th. And Zachary Carr, another top 10 starting effort in the 8th position.
Moving on back to 9th is going to be Andrew Payne in the number 77 machine. Next to him, Bronson Stafford is going to be rolling off in 10th in the number 61 car.
Rafe Slate has an EOL, but he qualified in the 11th position, while Philip Groner had 2 wins early in the season. It's cooled off a little bit, and he'll start 12th tonight.
See what he can do from 12th. Starting back behind him in 13th, Justin Anasoga is going to be rolling off in the number 88 machine. Next to him, Braxton DeWeese lined up in the 13 car, going to be in 14th.
15th position behind the 88 will be Bryce Henesack in the 09, a staple of this series. He'll be alongside the 30 of Jeremy Miller.
Moving on back behind them in 17th is going to be Garrett Grant in the number 5. Next to him, Brody Faulker going to line up in the 42. He's rolling off in 18th.
Alex Weaver needs to get going. He'll start in the 19th position tonight, 13 points behind the playoff cut line, as Alex Bryson also has some ground to make up starting in 20th.
Moving on back to 21st, Ben Pierce going to line up in the 65 car. Next to him is going to be Alex Bell in the 15 car in 22nd.
Ace Lakatos, a teammate to the 15, he's right behind. We'll start in the 23rd position. Ed Robertson, the HelloFresh Chevrolet Camaro, starts 24th.
Back in 25th, it's going to be Matthew Bell in the 43 car, and next to him, Matt Kemp in the 51 is lined up in 26th.
27th position to the 28 of John Furness. I saw he was having some internet issues as well. We'll see if he can stay in. Connor Kresick would start alongside him in a Toyota Supra in 28th.
Moving on back to 29th, it's going to be Shane Terrian in the 9 machine. Next to him, Shane Abbey lined up in 30th in the 84 car.
And I believe the last row of the field tonight, Colin Fambro in the 18 and Greg Mitchell in the number 2, 2 drivers that we did mention. So 32 drivers trying to start this race tonight.
Taking a look at the weather here before we get green. Got 2 pace laps to go. Air temp 81.5, track temp 103. Just about the conditions we saw in qualifying, but we did see a lot of guys get loose, especially right over here entering turn 3. A lot of guys just throwing the car into the corner. I think the tires heating up. Hunter, I think that's going to be a big thing for these drivers, especially in the restart.
Oh yeah, hot and slick, and especially with the way this racetrack is, especially down the backstretch with the way that the wall's angled. If you hit that backstretch wall on the outside, the car will kind of bungee cord itself up off the ground for some reason. Not sure why, but that's the way Rockingham is. Although whenever they go back in real life, I'm pretty sure that's going to be safer barriered, so we won't have that anymore. But there's the pole sitter having to serve his drive-through, so he's just dropping to the back immediately. We got 1 lap to green. I'm not really sure who I like here. I mean, David Weishart has run well in the past. Skyly's up here as well. Can't count Jake Nichols out, and Jeff Wright won last week. I'm going to go with 33 of Weishart for my pick to win.
I'm liking it. Connor, you?
I think I ran with him in a Gen 4 race last week, and he was very fast. Short run. I think this could be a race that comes down to short runs. It's just all about when the yellows fall, really. So I think Jeff Wright goes 2 in a row.
Jeff Wright in the 48. Solid starting position for him in 5th. For me, who do I pick? I'm between James Scully and Jake Nichols. I think both of them are strong picks, but I like James Scully. He performs pretty well in the Pro Series car. I think I'm going to like him to be my pick for tonight. Field rolling into turns 3 and 4. We got 150 laps on the clock for these drivers tonight. Pace car makes the left-hand turn on to pit lane. Field and control at David Weishart. As we wait and go, we are green here at Rockingham.
Whoa, Matthew Bell sliding in turn number 1. He saved it, though.
Well, keeping it green for now, trying to make it at least a lap here around the rock. They're door-to-door for the lead.
Whoa,
Weishart sliding. Going to lose the car.
And Jake
Nichols.
Nichols.
That's in front of everyone. Look out.
Oh, and that somehow only takes out both of them. Caution will fly, but they will remain out of contact from anyone. That was a very intense first lap there. Now, we just talked about it before. It was going to be a little bit loose in turn 3, and what do we see? The driver who inherited the pole, David Weishart, went around for a loop, and now he's back in 28th, and we saw also the 73. Jake Nichols got a piece of that. I think other than some damage to his left rear fender, I think he's okay. Actually, barely got any damage.
Yeah, I don't know how that wasn't bigger than it was. I think the big loser in that's going to be Travis Beckner. He pile drove someone and has pretty big front end damage, but we kind of saw this coming. We saw sliding in turn 1, and we saw how slick turn 3 was, and Weishart fired it in there. I think he's trying to slide up in front of Scioli, but he never had grip.
I'm not sure if he clipped paper
Bam.
as well, and that was the car that Travis Beckner hit, and then the 73 miraculously somehow spun and didn't get hit by anyone. That was almost catastrophic for the opening lap.
Riding on board with Travis Beckner, we saw him. He got a big piece of the 73, but there's David Weishart sliding up ahead. Jeff Wright doing a great job checking up, going low. Beckner thought it'd go middle. And unfortunately, he got a decent amount of damage to the front end of his car, but it looks like anyone else besides those drivers made it out okay. As we cut back live to pay the pace lap. Looks like Beckner, he's not deciding to go into pit to fix that damage. I think he should be all right, all things considered, but only time will tell.
And Nichols, I think, probably took some fuel. You don't want to really waste a tire set here unless you slid them. I don't even think Weishart. Well, they both slid, but I don't think both of them took tires. But it's going to be an interesting run for Beckner. I've seen in races past, if you get that front nose punched in, the oil temp and the water temp's going to go through the roof. So he's got to be very, very careful here and pay attention to his gauges. Make sure he doesn't blow up. This could be catastrophic if that happened. It's probably going to ruin. I don't know, maybe it makes it tighter, and looking at how turn 3 was, maybe that helps him, but that's not going to handle really well. A track like this, you need the downforce. You need that aero.
Well, already got the one to go on the green, and going to be interesting seeing how this one goes on the first restart of the race. Will the outside lane be preferred? Will the inside lane be better on the restarts? Will really all depend on when the leader jumps in the box. As look inside the 13 of Braxton DeWeese, who's already up a few positions.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese, one of the other 3 drivers we have on board tonight. Also got Bryce Senezak. Trying to see where he's running at the moment. Where is Bryce Senezak?
Back in about 12th.
12th. There we go. There he is in the 09 machine, running pretty strong. But feel we're getting ready to go back under green. And it will be Jeff Wright that'll inherit the lead. Actually, sorry, it'll be James Scully inheriting the lead. He's just electing to take the top side. Pace car off again once more. We'll turn them loose again. Green flag back in the air in lap 5, and we are off racing once more.
That was McKinney in the background just diving to pit road, serving that penalty.
Yeah, I don't think that's legal. You need to go around a full lap to serve that. I'm almost certain. Let's see how that's ruled.
Take a look and see how the admin decided to rule on that. Meanwhile, 77 Andrew Payne up high. Got Justin Munsell down low. Battle for third as the leaders start to trek away. There's Travis Beckner pushing in behind. Whoa, and Zach Carr in behind, trying to make a move. Maybe look to the top side of Beckner's complete lap 1. Or should complete the first lap on lap 5.
I think Beckner had a look inside of the 77, and Carr kind of got chopped by that, but no contact made. And we'll see how Beckner's damage does as Blaze McKinney rejoins the fight right in behind the leaders, but he does go a lap down. Now he needs that yellow, and to not be the yellow so he can get that lucky dog, pending how they review that drive-through penalty. Carr sliding on the bottom at the turn number 4. I think it was Ed Robertson, but he collected it as Scioli's well away with the race lead at this point.
Yeah, there you see the fast-charging 33 of Lysart already looking to make up what ground he lost. Lost a good bit of ground on that initial start. Meanwhile, up front, Travis Beckner and Andrew Payne duking it out as the lap car of McKinney tries to make his way through and get his lap back.
Yeah, and he's on his own mission right now, just trying to get that lap back. The best thing for him is just going to be trying to maintain being the first car a lap down. But of course, he's going to have to somewhat let some of these drivers on by, but remain high up in the order as possible. As the front few positions start to single file out. Here's Bronson Stafford. He's battling with Casey Lakatos in the moment on the bottom. Lakatos trying to fight to get inside the top 10. Stafford trying to keep that position going, or keep it going for him at least as he throws that Supra up high in turns 1 and 2.
Lakatos made up a lot of ground on these initial two, the start and the restart. He started in that 23rd position. Maybe some EOLs helped with that, but he's already running in that 11th position. You're already starting to see tale of two lines. You got majority of drivers at the front running that bottom line around the yellow. But you are seeing some drivers drift up the racetrack in the center of the corner a little bit.
Yeah, Lakatos just outside the top 10, one of the biggest movers of the race. Not to mention the biggest mover so far, John Furness. He finished third back here in Season 3. He started 32nd. He's already up to, well, he just lost a spot now, but he's still the biggest mover. Up to 16th. Lost that spot with Rafe Slade battling for the 15th position.
You can see a couple drivers back here starting to brawl for position. A little bit further back, Colin Fambro side by side with Connor Kresick. Trying to decide who's going to be the better one here. Someone can tap the wall just a little bit, but there is Bryce Senezak just able to get by Justin Anasogak. So Anasogak fighting with 98 of Ray Slate. Ray Slate will find his way on through. Here comes Furness now also working that top side. And at the moment, I almost want to say the top side. I don't even know if I want to say it's necessarily better, but I think each lane's got its perks and benefits. And I think as more rubber gets down, I think that top line will start to come in more.
And I think it will be better later in the run. We saw this on Tuesday night where most people started on the bottom and then they got to the top side as the tires rubbered in and as the wear got a little bit worse. So we'll see. I would think maybe around the lap 30 to 40 range, maybe we'll start seeing drivers start to move up the racetrack, but almost everyone else planting the yellow line at both ends of the track as Scioli's continuing to lead with a decent gap over Jeff Wright, who's kind of got a number of drivers stacked up behind him. He's got Justin Munsell, Travis Beckner, and also Blaze McKinney a lap down.
Interesting note in the short-term run there, only a couple of tenths off from their fastest lap time, so in case we do get a late green-white checker, would be interesting to note how manageable the new tires are compared to somewhat older tires, but got to get a little further deeper in the run to get a good tale of how old tires and new tires fare well, as Beckner's door-to-door with Blaze McKinney, who's trying to, again, work his way back on the lead lap, closing in on the 6 of Munsell, running in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, he's fighting tooth and nail to keep this spot. Again, it's going to be important for him later on. He's just kind of hoping and praying that someone at the moment is going to have an issue and they're going to bring out a caution so that way he can get that lap back. Because at the moment, as it stands, he is would be the lucky dog recipient. And wasting no time, make a move to the inside of Justin Munsell. I imagine not thrilled with the lap car fighting with him for position, but I think he's just going to be willing to let it go at the moment, not burn up his own tires.
Technically, McKinney's tires are, I guess, a lap fresher in a way, so he's a little faster. He's probably not going to fight him too hard, because McKinney's almost got to be outside of Jeff Wright. I guess I assume that what McKinney did was legal. I didn't think it was, but it clearly did. It's gained him a lot of track position. He would have been buried behind the rest of the field a lap and a half down, but instead he might get his lap back the hard way here, but he's got to get to the 7 first. As mostly single file throughout this entire field. The first battle is for 22nd with Greg Mitchell and Jake Nichols.
Yeah, looking through as most of the field's single file, just getting a good feel for it. Whoa, I think that was Jeremy Miller almost getting into the outside wall. Had a decent run through 1 and 2 and just carried it way too high. Running that Larson line, actually, starting to come through and try to make his way through the field. Actually, he's 8th, so I'm not sure what car that was, but it looked a lot like Jeremy Miller's.
Might have been Bronson Stafford. I've seen him up high quite a few times in 61. I don't know how much he's been testing the limits of the track, but...
Yeah, it might have been Ed Robert. It was a green car. I think it was Ed. That's why the first thing that came to my mind was, it's that car right behind Colin Fambro.
Oh, that is...
Jake
Was that
Nichols?
Jake Nichols?
It is.
Yeah, that was Jake Nichols. Okay.
Also had a slide. Also had a crash. I only just went back to look at. Shane Abbey crashed out on lap 18, so he might be out of this race. He actually spun out of turn number 4. Front end of that thing's knocked off almost.
Take a look and see what happened to the 84. It was not too long ago. Off turn 4, scraped the wall. Went from the safety barrier to the concrete. Around he went, and decent hit.
That was below the racing. That was below the racing surface, so no yellow to save him. So might just call it a night after that.
That's not how you want to go to victory lane. He's crossed through it and then hit a wall afterwards. So that might be the first retirement of this race, and I'm sure Blaze McKinney's thankful that it wasn't, or that he didn't get back going and potentially stole a lucky dog at any point. But I don't think he would have been in contention for that anyways.
Riding on board with Andrew Payne. Oh, took the words right out of your mouth. Door to door for 4th, door to door for 2nd up there, and then side by side, not for the lead, but for Lucky Dog. Well, the highest one would be Blaze McKinney, but he's just trying to get his lap back, so he wouldn't be the Lucky Dog. But we're over 15 laps on the run. 0.7 of a second difference in the lap time for the top 5 guys.
There goes Andrew Payne, well able to clear Travis Beckner, and Zach Carr also deciding to see if he can get a spot away from the 27, throws it to the inside in turn 3, and he will get it done. So Travis Beckner moved back to 6th. Then you got Philip Groner chasing back in 7th, Jeremy Miller 8th, DeWeese in 9th, and Stafford rounding out the top 10. I'm seeing you get a little bit spicy around where Jake Nichols is at the moment. Colin Farrell, Matt Kim, Connor Krasick all on a big group. Then it's Bell, Furness, and Senizak just ahead. And there's Jake Nichols back in 20th, recovering back from that spin on the opening lap of the race.
He's up to the 20th position. David Weishart's actually only up to about the 26th position, so 33, not getting through traffic as well at this point, but could be conserving his stuff a little bit. Nichols is one of those drivers actually testing the high line, running it earlier than I would anticipate someone running it, so he's just trying to find clean air on the nose to try to get through these drivers. I think someone else who's trying to get clean air on the nose is that 27 of Beckner. He started to drop. He's back to the 7th position, and we did get word from Jacob Bell that 27 car might be overheating.
Well, you caught on to it right away. That front end bent in a little bit. It's going to increase the water temperature, engine temperature, everything going to miss with that 27, but he's still running inside the top 10. Just got to make sure he manages his stuff and plays it correctly, otherwise his car will blow up. But there you see Krasick and Matt Kemp in the 51 going door to door just outside the top 15. This is for 17th on the track as Krasick looks to clear the 51 heading into 1.
Big dive from the 51 inside turn 1. A bunch of drivers up on the top side. A couple trying to make the bottom work and get the pass done. Where the 51 can't quite get it through, so the 14 will keep the spot for now. He's still going to work on the bottom, not giving it up just yet. Up ahead, John Furness. He's making a move on Bryce Senizak. Then it's Bell versus... Sorry, no, it's not Bell. Alex Weaver versus Rafe Slate. just up ahead, battled for 12th place as well.
Still a lot of bells, per usual. Have a lot of bells in this series. And a lot of Sense United cars around this area as well. You got Lakatos kind of at the front of it for 11th, and Alex Bell's right in the mix, right behind all these guys. But it's a pretty big stack up. This is like 11th place, all the way back to Greg Mitchell in the 21st position. Jake Nichols, kind of at the back, but still on 20th, not going anywhere. As Deweese is still trying to work over Travis Beckner. Remember how that worked out at Darlington. They had a fierce battle at Darlington a few weeks back. Deweese got put on the apron a little bit there, just not able to get by this 27 quite yet. Beckner back to 8th.
On board with the 13, trying to send it to the inside of Beckner as he's trying to manage his stuff, and the two are swapping positions left and right. Actually, outside the top 10 is where the positions are being swapped. Bronson Stafford, Casey Lakatos, Furness up another spot. So he's up to 14th, and in the middle of that battle from 15th on, we saw Zach Carr and Andrew Payne. They swapped 4th and 5th on the racetrack, so Zach Carr on the move.
Oh, hello. 3 wide.
3 wide. I was about to mention that. It was Furness who kind of made an aggressive move to get under Weaver. They're going to go back to 2 wide. I don't think Rafe Slate wanted any of that being on the top side of it, but now this is going to be the hard part for the 28 if he can't clear this 98, and if he gets stuck on the bottom, he's got a train of drivers about to get around him. Bryce Senensack is in the same situation. They both lost a lot of ground out of the corner. Slate and Furness are going to stay side by side as Weaver's getting away from that battle. It's how important it is to not be side by side. Furness really forced the issue up the track on the 98, just not quite able to complete that pass.
Man, this is looking at the bumper of Weaver, already up 7 spots on the race. He's driving away from this mangled mess back here with Furness to the inside of Slate for the 13th spot. He's still trying to navigate his way through the 98 as he is still the fastest mover, or biggest mover of the race, quickest and fastest. Trying to flirt with that plus 19 spots gain, but now he's in the middle of a 3 wide pickle into 1.
Someone's got to back out of this. Can't make 3 wide. I mean, he could make 3 wide work, but everyone's got to coordinate, and the speed's here so high into the corner. Looks like Acrez is going to charge on through. He will get through. Furness had to back out. Same thing with Slate. Another stuck here is Alex Weaver trying to, not Alex Weaver, Alex Bell. I'm getting all the Alex mixed up. Trying to make a move here, almost looking to make it 3 wide again.
Yeah, I gotta say that we didn't really give that a Krezek pass
Whoa.
enough credit. Falliker's around out of 4, but he's gonna maybe come back on the track. He's not on the surface. That's not gonna be a yellow, so he's gonna lose a lot of time to the field there. But I was gonna give credit though, Krezek on that pass. He went 3 wide to the top with barely any room and got 2 passes. That was a great move by him as Falliker. Ooh, and Matthew Bell kind of came down on him a little bit.
Went down the escalator and managed to bump into a small child, that being the 42 of Brody Falliker, but no harm, no foul. The caution not out. Green flag still out, and it's actually 150 laps rather than 140, but looking
it's
through
supposed
at
to be
the...
140?
No, I think I was looking at
No,
the
it's
truck.
150.
I think I was looking at the truck one, not the Pro Series one.
Look at this gaggle of cars. Travis Beckner looks like he's drifting further and further on back. Not sure if it's the overheating that he's trying to manage or just struggling with the aerodynamics on the front end is not working, but he's starting to drift on back, and it's a big gaggle of cars in behind him. Bronson Stafford, the first to make an attack on the outside. Here comes Casey Lakatos, also trying to make a charge on the outside, followed by the 29 of Alex Weaver and Connor Krezek and company.
Yeah, Krezek's, I think, faster than maybe all these drivers in front of him. It's a great run for Bronson Stafford so far, though, and he's the first one of this pack to get clear of the 27. I think it's a mix of both. I think the overheating is making him go a little slower at certain points of a track, but I also think it's going to really affect his handling. You see he has no drive off the corner with the front end damage. He's just going to continue to fall until he can hopefully get a yellow at some point to repair it. I was surprised he didn't do that as 18 and 98 got really friendly off of turn number 4.
I just had the sim crash on me.
That's not good.
That is not good.
They are still racing like heck, even without you, though.
Yeah, well, I was going to say I'm going to rely on you to give a little bit of a radio-style broadcast while we troubleshoot this. This is a first.
I don't think it is a first, but it's the first time in a while. This pack, I think you're looking at it too. I don't know if you're looking at it too, Hunter, or not, but ninth on back, this is a madhouse. There's like 20 cars within maybe 2 seconds. That doesn't usually work at Rockingham. You got Okresic getting away from Case Lakatis. You got Alex Weaver, Alex Bell, and John Furnison trying to make those passes. Beckner's going backwards. He's now back into the 15th position, and you still have Jake Nichols in the middle of this pack in 18th position trying to recover it. There's action all over this racetrack, and almost everyone's running the top side at both ends of the racetrack besides Beckner, who has that front end damage. It's wild right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces going on. Beckner's still moving down. He's almost 2 seconds off his fastest time of the race as a lot of positions being made up. Jeremy Miller moved up past Andrew Payne for the 6th spot, and Payne actually falling back to 8th now as DeWeese capitalizing on the mistake made by the 77. A lot of moving pieces being made. Matthew Bell passing the 33 of Weishart. He hasn't really been able to work his way through the field. Jake Nichols has up to 17th, past the 27 of Beckner. Fambro's up 15 spots now, so slowly but surely that 18, despite his error in qualifying, working his way through the field, starting to get a little closer towards the front, but still the biggest mover of the race, John Furness, up 19 spots since the start of this one. He's in 13th at the moment.
And he's been on a tear so far. It's specific. It's kind of like what Sebastian Marin's been doing on the Truck Series side. Is you're not missing anything at the front of the pack. James Scioli has pretty much led every single lap of this race. As Shane Therian has a lot of damage in turn number 1, lap number 41, and the 9, and I think the 33 had some contact. So they've had contact. David Weishart has damage. He's going to have to come to pit lane. Shane Therian's about to stop on the track, but he's on the apron. That will not be a caution, so that's huge for Therian's point situation. Meanwhile, the race goes on.
Is he actually out? Did he leave the sim?
He's definitely on the pit road. The 9 is, and the 33 is rolling on the pit road, but we'll see if they all get back in the race. It might have been netcode, but we'll just have to wait and see. You're not missing anything at the front. James Scioli continues to lead. He has about 1.2 seconds over the battle for second. Jeff Wright continues to have second, but Zachary Carr has moved past Justin Munsell for third. Now he's chasing the 48. They're all on the bottom of the racetrack between the front 5 or so. Philip Groner's up to 5th, Miller 6th, DeWeese, Payne, Okresic, and now Bronson Stafford hanging on to the 10th position as Alex Bell, Alex Weaver, the battle of the Alexes, for the 11th position, as pretty much everything single-filed out, 14th on back. Things are getting maybe a little bit more calm as update on Travis Beckner. He's all the way back to 22nd position, fading fast.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for him. He's just one of those drivers, again, when you can throw Blaze McKinney into the mix as well. Just kind of hoping and praying a caution comes out. And we've had almost 2 now near chances of a caution coming out. And unfortunately, iRacing's like, nope, no caution for you guys. And so they're stuck out there just waiting for the next time they can come down to pit lane and fix something. But unfortunately, by that point, might be too late.
And at this point, Hunter, we're getting pretty close to seeing some strategy calls being made. We saw on Tuesday night the 2-stop did end up winning the race, but the majority of the field did the 1-stop strategy. You can make it to lap 75, but with how much tire wear there is, the leader, James Scioli, his tire fall off has about 1.5 seconds, which is a lot of fall off, and it's only going to get worse. So we could start seeing drivers pit in about 5 laps or so and make this in 3 separate stints instead of going to lap 75 for that 1 stop.
Yeah, as multiple cars are trying to plan the strategies out. Still over 100 laps left in this race as Philip Groner, Jeremy Miller were swapping positions, Braxton DeWeese as well. So Groner's still holding on to that top 5, Miller in 6th, but up for second, Zachary Carr and Jeff Wright having a little battle, swapping the spots left and right as Okresic still up plus 18 after the shenanigans that went on behind him, so he's away from that. Carr and Wright, though, still going at it for second.
Yeah, and Finian's so off all from this racing, he just can't speak. It's totally not because he can't get in the server, but Zachary Carr just finally got the second position away from Jeff Wright, but that lead is already back up to 2 seconds, or it's up to 2 seconds, I should say. Scioli's running away. It's almost like season 4 all over again, where he just dominated the field. Munsell 4th, Philip Groner's in 5th, but now he's under attack from teammate Jeremy Miller and Braxton DeWeese, so a 3-car battle for 5th, also a battle for 6th at the same time. Really wild at the back as as Blaze McKinney is starting to fall back. He's lost touch with the top 5 at this point, still 1 lap down. Further back in the field, you have Licata's 15th, holding up a whole world of cars. Kemp, Slate, Matthew Bell, Greg Mitchell, and Jake Nichols all back here. And surprising to me, Hunter, Jake Nichols has not moved like I thought he would. He is only up to that 19th position and has been kind of stagnant in this line as we approach lap 50.
Yeah, it's just trying to manage the car, and not to mention just trying to get a feel for it, especially in dirty air. It's different than what they were expecting. The 33 and the 73, they started up front, then got caught up in that lap 1 caution. So that kind of throws your whole balance off. But Jake Nichols still trying to methodically work his way through. It's up 19th, up to 19th after that first yellow, and definitely better than what the 33 of Weishart has done. Skyoli still leads, but could be looking at pit stops looming pretty soon for the field.
Not quite yet. Haven't seen anyone dive in quite yet. As I say that, I hear the 50 of Licata's is pitting from 16th. So this looks like to be the first driver to defect of a 2-stop strategy. We'll have to follow how these strategies work out. We did have a change for 4th. Philip Groner's moved up in front of Justin Munsell. Munsell getting approached by Jeremy Miller now. They've had history. That might be something me and Hunter will have to look at, and we'll just have to describe it to you. That's what we've been doing, as DeWeese is still in that battle as well. Okresic is 8th. Andrew Payne is 9th. Bronson Stafford still holds the 10th position. Then it's Bell, John Furness in the 12th, just passing Alex Weaver. And now it looks like Colin Farnborough is going to make that pass for 13th. So Weaver back to 14th. Then Kemp 15th. Then it's Matthew Bell, Rafe Slate, Jake Nichols, Greg Mitchell, and Justin Anna Sogak, the top 20.
Yeah, and they were duking it out for 5th up there. Miller getting by Munsell, so the 30 car definitely starting to get a feel for that outside lane, as Braxton DeWeese now going to have a look to the inside of Justin Munsell heading into turn 1. It's going to be interesting as the 30 runs basically near the outside wall and going to have a strong runoff on that outside lane.
Had some other pit stops. Ben Pierce came in, Ed Robertson came in. So at least 3 drivers on the 2-stop strategy at this point, but still waiting on some other drivers closer to the front of the field to pit. The gap is coming down for the race lead as we've looked at other battles. Zachary Carr has made it from a 2-second gap down to about a 1.3-second gap, and he's pulled away from Jeff Wright, one of the better runs of the season on long run pace for the 97. Jeff Wright continues in 3rd. Philip Groner and Jeremy Miller round out the top 5. So you have 3 609 Motorsports cars in the top 5 right now, and would you have bet that none of them would be Jake Nichols, still mired in 17th position as David Weishart rejoins the race about 11 laps down, completely out of contention. Still no one else pitting at this point, though.
No, not at the moment, and still looking through at some of the biggest movers of the race, like John Furness up 21 spots. That's crazy. Connor Okresic just made a move on Munsell, so he's up 20 spots since the start of this one. Colin Farnborough, you mentioned, he's up to 12th now, up plus 18. Matt Kemp right behind him, plus 13 from the 13th position. 14th, Matthew Bell, up 11 spots, and Greg Mitchell as well, even though he's only 19th, he's still plus 12 since he started the race, so that gap for the lead, though, still starting to dwindle. About a 10th and a half better that last time from Zachary Carr.
Had another pit stop at the same time as Finian almost getting the feedback. Travis Beckner just pit from 21st position. I don't know if it's for a strategy or just trying to fix the front end a little bit, but like you said, the gap for the lead's coming down, and you can finally see the race leader again because James Scioli is on our screens.
Yeah, there we go. Finally managed to fix that. I don't know why Iris was being extremely stubborn and didn't want to load back into the server, but finally got it working. So, as you mentioned, here's a look at what's going on the racetrack finally in picture. James Hill, your leader. Zach Carr in 2nd. Wright 3rd. Groner in 4th. Miller up to 5th. And we talked about David Weiser and his issues back in 30th in the middle of traffic now, but 12 laps down to the leader.
And that netcode was really strange. It was between Weishart Theory and also the 88 of Anna Sogak was involved. It was just really weird netcode taking the 9 and the 33 out of the race, and the 88 was able to continue as Weishart's just going to try to pick up scraps from possible attrition, but currently no attrition quite yet, besides really himself at this point, as now there's 2 drivers currently out of the race, and Shane Theron and Shane Abbey. Not a good night for Shane's. You have Weishart 12 down, then Pierce 4 laps down after a green flag pit stop. As we're looking like most drivers are going to go to the one-stop strategy. No others have really come down. As Blaze McKinney, he really drove his tires off, Hunter. I think he drove them off trying to get his lap back the hard way, and now he's fading hard.
Yeah, trying to do all that he could, but the longer the run goes, the more and more that 61's starting to fade, and give him credit. He's keeping the 18 of Fambro at bay, one of the biggest movers of the race, up 19 spots, a staggering 19 spots. Just imagine what kind of place he would be, Fambro would be, if he didn't have that bobble in qualifying, where he, like I mentioned, he's run well here in the past. He had a chance to win in Season 2, but I feel like this gets better. The longer the run goes, the better that 18 gets, as start to look back up front. The 48 and the 11 starting to swap for third, but the 11 had a slide heading into 1.
Was really trying to throw it into
front stretch, crash on the front stretch, or at least a mini crash. Colin Fambro and Bronson Stafford had contact as they're both on the apron rolling around. I don't see too much damage to those cars, but lost a lot of track position. They were bound for about 10th. Oh, Stafford pounded the wall, and that is wild. That's not a caution.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job saving it. So they were only a little bit sideways off the racing surface. But, yeah, Bronson Stafford caught a piece of the wall off at turn 4. And we've seen that catch quite a few people off guard. Just that safer barrier just jutting out a little bit more. And the drivers getting a little bit too close to the wall. It was a decent hit for the 61, though. And the 18 of Fambro, nowhere for him to go, unfortunately.
And that's something they're going to have to recover with. I don't think Stafford got too much damage, but I think most of the damage was actually the left rear. So he got a lot from that, actually, as they both bulldozed through the grass a little bit there. As still 62 laps in. We're working lap 63, and that lead gap we were talking about, it was 2 seconds. Zachary Carr's cut it to about 4 to 5/10 of a second, as this battle for 4th has also gotten closer, as it was the battle for 3rd, but Philip Groner has not been able to really get by the 48, as a lot of faster drivers long run approaching.
Yeah, one of those being the 14 of Prezig, actually looking to the outside, trying to get a run onto Weiss in the 13, but he'll have to come up and block that 14, as he's been one of the fastest charging guys in the field. Remember, he had a EOL, so that 7th or 8th starting spot, no use for him, so he's had to basically work his way from the back to the front. So he's also one of those cars where, I just hit my mic. The better the longer the run is, the better that car is getting, and he's right up on that outside wall. Not sure how he's not hitting the wall, but still trying to find a way around the 13.
Trying to make something work. Also back here, another battle brewing. John Furness, Matthew Bell duking out for position. Bryce Senizek, one of those drivers on a 2-stop strategy. He's going to blow his way on by in 24th and get past John Furness on the racetrack. Matt Kemp also close behind in the 51. Trying to see if he can catch up to Bell, make it a 3-car battle for 10th. Other battles, Alex Weaver trying to hold off Justin Anasogak, 13th and 14th, starting to duel for that spot. And Jake Nichols back here in the 73, and he's not quite been able to move up since he had that spin on the opening few laps.
Shows how important track position is at a track like this. You can make those passes happen, but if you don't have that track position, you're having to come from around last. It's going to be tough no matter who you are. This track doesn't care if you're a champion in this series or you have multiple wins at this track. It's going to bite you, sort of like Darlington will. Rockingham kind of has that character to it, as he's struggling to get by Blaze McKinney a lap down and ran a 10th faster than the 87 last time by, but McKinney finally just gave way there, as 10 laps away from halfway, make that 9 laps. Not too far away from pit stops, and we're not too far away from a battle for the lead, as here goes Alex Bell on fresh tires by Philip Groner. Groner got the 3rd position away. Zachary Carr's trying to get the lead away.
Yeah, he's on his way towards this battle for the lead. What nice runoff for Zachary Carr. He's going to have a peek to the inside. He's going to send it into 1. The 7's not going to block. He'll get him the inside lane, and the battle for the lead heats up. Could be the first lead change under green in the race, as Skylerly Powers off too.
Yeah, remember I was talking about before, I think once that outside lane gets some more rubber in, I think it'll definitely be one of the better lines, and it looks like the rubber's finally been able to be put down, because these guys can get a really good drive off the corner, much better than anything the inside lane can produce. So Zach Carr is going to have to try to find some sort of way around the 7. Looks like he's going to keep going at it on the inside lane for now. And we're approaching the halfway point in this race. And at some point, you're going to have to make a pit stop. And I wonder if Zach Carr, maybe if he wants to try to maybe beat the 7 on pit lane, that could be an option.
Well, he has free will if he wants to because he's got the bottom line, but that was such a good run through 3 and 4 on the bottom. He has a chance to maybe clear the 7 if he wants to into turn 1. You can see Skylerly really firing it into the corner as Alex Bell will come through on fresher tires 3 wide, but you can see the 7 just able to carry more speed on entry on that top side. It's kind of like what we saw Bristol in real life last week. You're just able to carry more speed on entry, and it helps your center off because of that. Seems like it's much better on 1 and 2 up there. 3 and 4, not so much. But saying that, Skylerly got a much better run out of 4 that time.
And meanwhile, Deweese lost a spot to Miller. He's up to 4th. Meanwhile, not Braxton Deweese, but John Furness entered the top 10, passing the 51 of Matt Kemp, although he's trying to find a way around that 28 car. And then even a little further up front, there's the 13. There's the Deweese machine, as Miller got loose, and Beckner's going to go to the inside. He's a lap down, trying to muster what he can out of the rough start he had.
Here comes Rafe Slate, the pit.
More drivers on pit lane. Going to shuffle things up on this. Is it Rafe Slate or just a month ago?
98, Rafe Slate. He's really the first one to come in, actually. I know he's doing this one stop at this point. Or no, it might have been Justin Munsell. I'm sorry,
Okay.
you were correct.
I thought I was like behind for a second. I was so confused because he's out on the racetrack still, Rafe Slate.
Yeah, so it is Munsell, first front runner to come in, but really no one really responded to him. Now someone does. That's Andrew Payne from 8th pitting, so this should start the one-stop strategy. 6 is in, 77's in. Jake Nichols from 15th is going to come in while the race lead. Battle gets tight. The 7 kind of gets held up by the 0-9. Gives Zachary Carr a run here, but 97 has nowhere to go with it.
Could we see the 7 coming down pit road? No, not this time through, but...
Oh, 7 gets loose on the inside. Here comes the 97 on the outside. The lap car helped him out to get purchased on that outside lane. And here comes the 97 with the more preferred lane. Might have a shot at getting through past the 7. Gasses it out of the corner, gets the run, and he's on through. Lead change under green.
And I think now Skylerly should pit. He lost the track position. You're probably only going to get it back by pitting. So I think he responds. That's exactly what he's going to do.
And off he'll go down to pit lane, slow her down, get some fresh tires, and get back out there. And this is perfectly at the halfway point. So Zach Carr will continue onwards. Then Philip Groner is back in 2nd. Jeremy Miller in 3rd. There's someone in the wall. I'm going to assume Connor Kresick in 4th. Or 5th place, I should say. Braxton Deweese in behind in 4th, trying to chase down Jeremy Miller.
Yeah, so Carr's going to continue to lead, and he will not respond, which I'm kind of surprised by. So he's going to go long, get track position, or get fresher tires, I should say, the opposite of track position, as Philip Groner 2nd, Miller 3rd, but Deweese 4th, and O'Kresick 5th. And these 4, 2nd to 5th now, have been like the 4 fastest cars, or really the top 5 have been the fastest cars on the long run, and it shows on the timing sheet right now as Jeff Wright pits. Skylerly's off of pit lane in the number 7, Rick's Hot Sauce Camaro. Wright's off and away. Bronson Stafford still sitting on pit lane as the leaders once again do not come down. Actually, never mind. Braxton Deweese just pit.
Deweese, one of the front runners, is going to come down as well, Hunter. And I guess now, do you think we're going to see these guys maybe try to stretch it out longer than they maybe need to, or do you think we're going to see start to see a slow trickle?
I think we'll start to see a little more of a slow trickle. Still have yet to see some of these guys make a pit stop during the race, which is kind of absurd. Looking at about the top 6 or so. Top 6, and then you got Alex Weaver, Greg Mitchell, and Brody Falker. Among those that have yet to make a pit stop. So the furthest one, once everything cycles through, would be the 43 of Matthew Bell, looking like he'd be in the best spot.
Charging on through is Matthew Bell, trying to get past John Furness. Furness going to the inside to defend, or maybe come down pit lane. Hard to tell at this point. Looks like he will be coming down to pit lane to pit in the 28 machine, so he will surrender that spot. Leaders still continue to make laps, now coming to lap 80. And then this is the fine balancing act for these drivers. When do you choose to come into pit? How long do you continue, to have fresher tires towards the end? But you also need enough time left in the race to make use of those fresher tires.
As Jeremy Miller's going to come in. I think at this point, from the numbers I'm seeing fuel-wise, these drivers are almost out. I don't think they can go much more than maybe 5-10 more laps. So I think at this point, they're running the fuel to the end. And maybe if you get a yellow, that's good because you trap a lot of drivers a lap down. But the negative, you're going to lose track position at the beginning of this next run on tires. But the pro is if it goes green and Zachary Carr enters pit lane, The positive could be if this does go green to the end, you will have the freshest tires to the end, and you got to make those passes and make those tires count. Race leaders on pit lane. Philip Groner gets the race lead away as Travis Beckner, Case Lakatos, two teammates dueling it out on differing strategies.
Yeah, so we're starting to see some of the last guys coming into pit, which definitely makes us aware that they're inside the fuel window, no doubt about it. Less than 70 to go. Leader Philip Groner going to come down. Connor Okresic as well. I don't even think we mentioned it, but it's very hard trying to get on the pit road here with over 25 degrees of banking in 3 and 4 alone, and trying to get on that flat apron. So it's really tough for some of these
spinning out
guys.
of turn number 4, and he is saving.
Another car spinning.
Jeremy Miller and Colin Fambro.
Well, that's not what any of those guys wanted to see.
And
they're to the inside as well.
Still green.
No yellow. That's below the racing surface, and that's a tough break for Miller. He was having a top 5 car, driving through the field. Take a look at it here with our replay.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where this got started. I want to say with Garrett Grant. Did he get contact? Got contact off the nose of the 30. Then Miller got on the wall. He got loose, and around he went into Fambro.
Now, that's like deja vu for the 18, like very similar to what happened to him earlier in the race.
Those two had contact last week. It was Fambro getting loose and into Miller. This time it's Miller turning the 5 and then coming down right in front of the 18, and nowhere for Fambro to go, nothing for Garrett Grant to do, and that's all those drivers are running pretty solidly, so 30 kind of just ruined a lot of days, including his own there. And,
Yeah.
on top of that, no yellow, and I'm sure the guys, you could see some drivers, I think, stayed out because they saw that yellow. I don't think Matt Kemp's been to pit lane yet, so he was kind of hoping for a yellow to come out. Has not gotten it, though.
Yeah, Matt Kemp, looking at Greg Mitchell and Brody Falker, among probably the only guys that are on the track that have yet to make a pit stop, but that was really our first look at our Hendry County Motorsports Park replay. It's been over 80 laps and only had a yellow in the beginning, but we've had some drama occur throughout the rest of the race, but no need to fear. Racing is back at the Hendry County Motorsports Park. Maybe not this weekend, but next weekend, October 5th, you can see 360 Top Gun wing sprints, street stocks, man, English is tough, V8 Warriors, and more. Tickets are $15 for adults with discounted prices for seniors, teens, and kids ages 5 and under are free. So if you got any
they're crashing on the front again. Falliker and now Miller had contact with Bronson Stafford. Brody Falliker's gone for a second spin, and once again, it hasn't brought out a yellow.
And the iRacing officials are sleeping tonight. Here's a look at what happened. There's the 61 of Stafford that got on the wall, then got hit from behind into the 30. The 61 went into the 42, and around he went, entering turn 1. And I'm amazed, man. They are barely getting off the racing surface to bring out these cautions.
And that's going to force Falliker and Stafford to pit. Jeremy Miller not making many friends. I don't know how much he could have done about that, but he did go into the 61. This is a mess. Garrett Grant, Colin Fambro, two other drivers who had contact with the 30 coming through, passing Greg Mitchell. And this has cycled out. I believe everyone has pit. Alex Bell, who was the first driver, one of the first drivers to commit to a two-stop strategy, continues to lead. Then Beckner, Lakatos, Senesac, Greg Mitchell. I believe the first driver on the one-stop strategy might be Justin Munsell, 7 seconds back.
I mean, just absolute chaos. Still 60 laps left, and we've seen a good bit of it tonight from the southernmost dirt track in America, sponsoring our replay. So make sure you check it out in Clewiston, Florida, off U.S. Highway 27. Visit HendryRacing.com for more info. That's the Hendry County Motorsports Park replay sponsor, and Travis Beckner, the official flagman for Hendry County Motorsports Park, had a rough going so far, just trying to muscle his way through. Still got a couple more races left for him to settle it out before the playoffs begin next week at Texas, and then 2 weeks from now at Talladega. Meanwhile, it's all 7s for Andrew Payne, the 77, running 7th on the racetrack.
Payne's currently doing a pretty solid job at the moment to move up to the order. Another 7 in behind him. James Scowl currently in 8th in the number 7 car, trying to work his way up. Has got one of the fresher tires. Well, he's got fresher tires than Payne, Robertson, and Munsell all directly ahead. Actually, there's Robinson just letting everyone on by because he's on an alternate strategy. That car in the 97 not too far behind. He's trying to chase down James Schuyler. I remember James Schuyler came out a lot earlier down, so Schuyler is trying to make it through traffic quickly because he knows that 97 is going to be catching him in a hurry.
I honestly thought the gap might have been a little bit bigger than what it is.
Whoa!
It's really on.
Lacotta's in the wall.
Oh,
Look out!
boy!
Ed Robertson.
No, wake him up! Wake David Hoot up!
I mean, Flagman's looking right at it and just opted not to waive the caution.
He's choosing to not do anything. Unbelievable, as we'll get the actual replay. And that's another one that Weaver just booted Lacatas, and there's no other way around it. Ed Robertson did a good job getting on the brakes, but once again, it's pretty avoidable contact.
Yeah, but the action here is unavoidable, as here we go. We got some possible 3-wide action heading in the turn. Payne in the middle, White coming up. The 48 came up and almost took out, what was that, the 6?
Munsell, yeah.
Of Munsell. That was chaotic. Here comes the 51 of Matt Kemp, trying to work his way through this mess.
Man, everyone's just really trying to test out the caution system in iRacing and see 51 rocket around the outside of Bryce Senezek and Justin Munsell. They got a head full of steam, trying to punch his way on through with some fresher rubber, but he's way down the order in 28th after coming back into pit lane. He's on the 2-stop strategy. He's got a lot of makeup. Actually, I don't even think he's on any strategies. 4 laps down, so just trying to make things up at the moment. Jeff Wright gonna hold on to 5th, trying to get 4th now away from Andrew Payne, who's got slightly older tires. There goes Wright on the top side in the 48. Drag race 77 down the front straightaway.
Yeah, there were some penalties. At least I'm assuming there are penalties that put drivers laps down, like Matt Kemp being 4 laps down. Braxton DeWeese is 2 laps down now. We know Brody Falliker's 2 laps down because he's been spun 2 times with no caution. But it seems like that little pack with Wright, Payne, and I think that's the 6 of Munsell is kind of single-filed out, at least for the most part. I was concerned for Zachary Carr if they stayed packed up the way they did, but it seems like at least that part of the racetrack's calmed down, as things have been spreading themselves out through a little bit of battles and a little bit of attrition as well.
There's a lot of everything going on here right now. It's just
You're
like
these
one
two
big
again.
melting pot.
Speaking of attrition.
Yeah, might see more. That's also the leader they're trying to get around to unlap themselves. Oh boy!
No, they're going to force him in the middle.
Split them 3 wide, and they'll get through. They're both on the lead lap, but they both want the same spot they're fighting for. Miller gets the better run off turn 2. He'll get ahead of the 18 for now, and they will continue their fight on as they are back on the lead lap.
And meanwhile, Skyley's about to pass Beckner for 2nd. We can see as there it is, the 7 get around the 27. So Beckner still has to make a pit stop though, because this is he's on the 2-stop strategy.
I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out for him. I really think, as bad as the tire wear is and the loss of grip and the difference in speed, I think coming in that extra time at a track like this, it's really going to kill your overall race time. So you're better off sticking it out if you can for the 1-stop, unless you got some tire issues. Zach Carr, see in the background, gets past Andrew Payne. There's Justin Munsell as well. And out on the outside of the 29, that's Weaver trying to work his way on through with some fresh tires.
Looks like this is lap 100, so if you're 2-stopping, you might pit now. And as I say that, Alex Bell brings it down the pit lane. So the 1-stop, and Scioli, who's done pitting, reclaims the lead. Travis Beckner used all of pit entry there to come down. So it's like all the 2-stoppers are starting to make their stops. Here comes Robertson. Here comes Lacatas as well. It almost seems like a Central United strategy that they're trying. It seems like only the Central United cars, plus maybe a few others, Hunter, are doing this.
Yeah, Senezek, one of the ones on 2-stop strategy as well, coming down and making the pit stop. This should make for an interesting finish within the last 50 laps of this race if we stay green. And based on what we're seeing tonight, it has a good chance of staying green. Then again, it's inevitable to see cars spinning, colliding, crashing at any parts of the racetrack. But Finian, it's all occurring below the racing surface, and that's not enough to trigger a caution from iRacing standards.
Yeah, iRacing standards, at least at Rockingham, it really varies depending on the track you're going to. The luck you get with the luckiness or the unluckiness you get with it. Here comes Zach Carr with a charge to the inside of Jeff Wright, and Wright's going to let him on through. Almost gets dumped by the 29, who was, I think, not expecting the 40 to slow down as much as he did for the corner. They avoid calamity once more, as we've had so many near misses tonight. I think it can fill up an entire season.
And I gotta say, this cycled really well for the 97. I thought he'd be so much further behind, but he's already almost within 1 second of Scioli, and he has 6 lap pressure tires. So this has really worked out for Carr to this point, but there's still such a long way to go, and we always talk about it. Catching's one thing, passing's another, so he's got to get there. He looks like he will, but it took him a while to get that pass completed. It even took him some lap traffic to make that pass complete, so he's still got a lot of work to do.
On board with Zach Carr in the 97. He's having a solid day. He's up to second now, less than a second behind leader Scioli, who's trying to increase that gap, but closing in on lap traffic just up the road, and Carr's starting to run lap time similar, if not quicker, than the 7 of Scioli. And looking back at guys who need a good point stay, looking at the 14 of Okrezik, the 33 of Weissart definitely has not had a good day points-wise, but Okrezik in the 14, he's also 9th in the standings, but 7th on the racetrack, trying to get around the 73, or actually that's the 6 of Philip Groner, the 73 of Nichols. Whoa! Getting up near the outside wall was the 11, and those two still going at it for position.
Also, quickly, sorry to cut you off, Vinny, and I saw Matthew Bell doing some yard work down the front straightaway, but he did get it back going.
There is Matthew Bell in the 43, back in 11th at the moment. As we remain green, only one caution so far slowing down the race. We've remained green ever since, but by the skin of our teeth and the skin of the driver's teeth. And I'm sure half the field's been begging for a caution to come out to reset, because a lot of drivers have been just thrown for a loop with the caution not coming out, and they've had to try to rebound on their own power and their own momentum. And speaking of which, Blaise McKinney has been begging for a caution for the last 108 laps. And unfortunately, nothing's come to him. Back in 20th lap down, and has not really made any forward progress since then.
He had the opportunity to whack everyone doing iRacing race control. I think he would, because he probably thinks there have been like 6 yellows, which he's probably right. Just haven't happened on the racing surface. And it's, I guess Rockingham must be one of those tracks that were scanned a while ago, where everything below the surface just isn't a yellow. Darlington's the same exact way, although Darlington, you have a lot less surface to work with. And I will tell you right now, I think one person who wants the yellow to come out is James Scioli, because this undercut has not worked. Zachary Carr, with 40 laps to go, 41 to go, is there.
Wow, I was not expecting to beat it this quickly on Tree. Caught there immediately. There he goes. Big run off a turn 4 switchback. Goes to the inside, and Scioli, I think, is going to have to give up. There's nothing with him to fight with.
Yeah, 6 lap fresher tires. That's the difference between the 97 and the 7. And Zach Carr to the lead with 41 laps to go here from Rockingham, as could see another first-time winner this season. Haven't seen the 97 of Zachary Carr go to victory lane at all. Looking through, his best finish of the season was 4th at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So a multi-talented driver nonetheless on the ovals, on the road courses. He's 40 laps away from getting the job done.
And now for James Scully, it's just a matter of him, how long can he last out here? I mean, it should be fine with at least maybe a top 5 or so, but now he's kind of thrown to the wolves. Jeff Wright actually has got same length, same age tires. I'm trying to see if I can get this here. I don't think this graphics working at the moment. Nope. I blame Kyle. But Jeff Wright, 36 laps on his tires, 38 for Andrew Payne. Justin Munsell, 39. Philip Groner, he's going to be coming through the field pretty quickly. He's only got 29 laps on his tires. Same thing with Connor Okrezik, and actually both of them are about to start doing battle for position amongst themselves.
I believe the leader on that 2-stop is right now Travis Beckner, a little bit further up ahead compared to the 15. So we saw this work on Tuesday night. John Hall was able to get through the field and win the race at the very end over Beckner. So I guess Beckner might have seen that and said, hey, we should do that. It worked the other time, as Philip Groner in battle with Connor Okrezik for 6th. But we'll see if those 2-stoppers have enough time to get through the field. We're coming to about 37 laps to go, and Travis Beckner is still a lap down.
Indeed, as we're still riding aboard this battle, and the 6 of Munsell actually going to let the 11 and the 14 go. Munsell's just trying to make sure he can get a good finish here. He fell back 3 spots after last week's race at Chicago and finished 32nd. Only 2 top 10s, or actually 2 top 5s this year, and the best finish was Sonoma at 4th, 5th at Pocono, but he's finished 30th or worse the last 3 races, and he's sitting on that cusp of the top 20, so including today, well, after today, there'll only be 2 races left for him to try and make up enough spots in points and basically win to get in. Meanwhile, the 77 of Andrew Payne, he's outside the top 30 in points. He's missed too many races this season. Nonetheless, having a solid run in 4th, but for the time being, here comes Philip Groner on the outside.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a similar story to what we saw with Justin Munsell. He's going to have to let him by. In fact, actually, Payne and Munsell, I think, pit on the same lap. Oh, they put one lap apart. But he knows the tire difference can't really fight it. It's going to be Groner on through for 4th, or Kresick for 5th. Payne and Munsell back to 6th and 7th, respectively. Jake Nichols is finally starting to come back through the order, although they say that John Furness, I think, is going to potentially pass him. Put a one spot down as he's got the tire advantage at the moment, but not the line, as Nichols comes flying off the top of turn 4, and John Furness working the bottom.
Yeah, same tire disparity that the 7 and 97 had. Nichols' tires are 6 laps older than Furness's, but Furness has not been able to get past him quite easily. He's kind of stuck behind the 73 at this point for the 8th position. Right now, both of them are gaining on the 6 of Munsell, who's just not having that good of a run right now. But I think all of them might come up on Andrew Payne. He did not, actually no, he just had a bad lap. He's not that much slower, as this is a complete mess. Zachary Carr trying to get through lap traffic, but at the same time, Travis Beckner is trying to get back on the lead lap and try to catch a caution at the right time, possibly, as now on the 2-stop strategy gets his lap back. Alex Bryson has also had pit. He's now at 1 down, as Scioli is getting trapped behind a lot of this. That gap is increasing for the lead, as Alex Bell, same strategy as a 27.
Yeah, a lot of moving factors here in the middle of this, as Colin Fambrough is the one that's moving down, lost the position to Beckner, lost it to the 15 of Alex Bell, who is also trying to get his lap back around the 97 of Zachary Carr, but the 73 of Nichols still keeping the 28 of Furness at bay for the 8th spot.
Yeah, I'm going to cut back quickly here. Another battle brewing in that pack. Garrett Grant fighting with Greg Mitchell. Both of them dueling it out for 16th place at the moment. It's just in behind. You can see James Scully just in front, currently 2nd place on the track. And they're both just been behind the leaders, trying to see if they can unlap themselves. At least for Greg Mitchell, I think it looks like he has slightly fresher tires than the leaders, so he has a chance of getting his lap back. Just Colin Fambrough with his damaged car, just trying to hold on and hope no one else gets into him and spins him off the track once more.
Yeah, and Fambrough, it's actually surprising that him and Jeremy Miller, they, and Garrett Grant, they all pretty much wrecked, and somehow they're able to get back going, and they're all pretty much, well, 2 of them in the top 15, Garrett Grant just outside of it, but it's actually really surprising to see they're still up there. But it's just surprising to see the pace of the leaders compared to the other half of the field. It's not really something we're used to. This field is usually pretty close together, but right now only 14 drivers on the lead lap at this point, and a few more probably getting ready. No one else is getting ready to go a lap down at this point. Miller would actually be probably next in line. But it is kind of surprising to see how spread out this field has gotten. But I guess at the same time, it's not that surprising when you go this many laps green.
Travis Beckner, even with the damage, still fighting through and up to 12th, past the 30 of Jeremy Miller, who has had an up-and-down roller coaster sort of a race. Running in the 13th spot, and Alex Bell closing in behind, running in 14th.
Yeah, Beckner has been putting some solid laps down, so this is, again, his point in the race where he really needs to click it on. He's got 11 seconds, though, to go to the next highest driver ahead of him in 11th, and that's Justin Anasogak, so not the worst strategy call. It actually does seem to be working out for him. Question is, can he get any more spots, as Alex Bell actually just got on by Jeremy Miller. He's continuing his hunt to get Travis Beckner. And then not too far behind them is Philip Groner and Connor O'Kresick, one of the closer battles on the racetrack at the moment for 4th and 5th. And Zach Carr is still our leader in the 97. Just want to click off a few more reads before the race is over, because it's been so entertaining between the pit stops and all the strategy working out. I want to get this in before the end of the race. I want to thank Elite Entertainment. Add some life to the party this summer with Elite Entertainment, located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina. Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain any location, including karaoke, single, which is music bingo, and more. Visit linktree.ee/Elite Entertainment LLC for all contact info. And also want to thank the High Banks podcast, just 2 blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Listen to episode 205 with Brad Slaughter. New episode with Jacob Bell coming soon, available on Spotify. The race continues to wind down. It's going to get a little bit closer here near the back. Philip Groner and Connor Kresick are closing in on one another. Then Justin Munsell trying to hold off a charging Jake Nichols and John Furness and Matthew Bell. Throw him in the mix for good measure.
Matthew Bell's caught the 28 and the 73, so he's been really fast long run, but the few slides he's had has relegated him further down the order, and then seeing how many cars are in front of him, the track position has mattered. As Nichols and Furness, they've stayed 8th and 9th. Furness, that tire band just hasn't worked for him as they're trying to get by Robertson. Actually, that was Alex Weaver, and they're all coming up on Justin Munsell and Andrew Payne at this point, so a little bit of a sack up starting to kind of rear its ugly head here, I should say, as Payne's at the front of it.
Yeah, the 28 of Furness, still massive props to him. The biggest mover of the race so far, plus 23 since the start of this race. Started all the way back in 32nd and worked his way up to 9th so far, trying to hold on to a top 10. Meanwhile, just a little further up the road, in 5th is Connor Okresic. Started back in 27th with that EOL and has worked his way inside the top 5. So good run there for the 14, still trying to see if he can pick off another spot. That's Philip Groner, but he's loose off 2. As Groner looks to get around the lap car of Colin Fambro, who was one of the biggest movers until he just kept getting caught up in shenanigans after shenanigans, which wasn't his own fault, but that is racing that does happen from time to time. But he's in the middle of this battle for 4th.
Starting to get really tight here, and you see Okresic thinking about making it 3 wide. Just not sure if you can really do it at this point. You don't want to put yourself in too precarious of a spot because you're in a solid position and the race is almost over. Not a whole lot of time to make up for a mistake. There's Andrew Payne, Justin Munsell, Jake Nichols closing into his rear bumper in the number 6 machine.
And this has been a slow but steady recovery for Nichols at this point. I think he'd be thrilled with a top 10 after spinning lap number 1 to the rear of the field, but this pass is going to be very difficult on the 6 of Munsell. Munsell pit on lap 72. Jake Nichols' tires are only about a lap fresher, so it's really not that much of a difference to go to really work. So we'll see how hard he's going to have to fight here.
And the 6 just trying to hold on to what he can. Almost a moment there off 4 with, I think it was Matthew Bell and might have been Ed Robertson. But Robertson still in line behind the 43. Not sure if that was just coming too close together off the corner, but nonetheless, still solid performances all around inside the top 10. And Zach Carr leads by over 2 seconds on Skylerly with less than 20 to go.
Here's a look at the gap right there. There's Zach Carr, and then 2 seconds back. Not terribly too far behind is James Scully. Thing is that gap's going in the opposite direction that Scully would like. It's expanding, not closing in. Jeff Wright maintaining distance back about a second and change in 3rd. And then you got Groner and Okresic, their battle for position, though he got some word that the 14 hit the wall not too long ago and might have some damage to the right side of that car. Actually, looks pretty okay to me, so I guess he got away with it. We'll continue on, trying to keep that top 5, but we'll see if he can get 6th and more. And then, of course, Andrew Payne, he's got a handful of faster cars in behind him, and he, I'm sure, cannot wait for this race to come to an end so he can keep that 6th place spot.
And he's in a fierce battle right now, and it's so interesting to see how this track has changed. It's almost like how Charlotte was earlier in the season, but it's also like how Tuesday night was, where we started everyone running that bottom line for almost the first half of the first run on tires from that race. But now you can see almost everyone's right around the outside wall like it's Darlington or Kansas, just ripping the top, and that's making it even harder to pass than it was earlier in the race because there's just not enough grip on the bottom, maybe too slick down there, just no run down there at this point. So everyone shifted to being in everyone's dirty air, so those passes probably, the amount of laps a pass takes here probably doubles when it becomes a little more one lane like this.
We might see one in a few laps. The 7 of Scully's been starting to, well, they're bouncing off the wall too, but he's starting to run laps slower than the 97. Jeff Wright's been closing in, still about 1.2 seconds outside of second place Scully, but him, Philip Groner, they've been able to somewhat creep their way closer towards second spot, but battle still looms on behind the top 5 as that's 6 of Munsell, trying to keep Nichols at bay, needs all the good finishes that he can, trying to get back inside the top 20.
Battle further on behind, Jeremy Miller, Greg Mitchell trying to decide who wants to be in 14th. Miller trying to keep that top side going, contact with the 2, and Miller's got to be careful. He already got +1 for an earlier incident. I think, I'm not sure which one it was.
Take your pick.
Yeah, I was going to say, at this point, take your pick. He's had a run in with a couple drivers tonight, but he got a +1, so it doesn't probably want to not make it more for him, as he's trying to keep that 2 at bay, but he's also got to worry about Rafe Slate. Rafe Slate now starting to charge in from behind, so he's going to throw a wrench into things, now go to the outside of the 2 of Mitchell.
And he has much fresher tires than both these drivers, but he's got to find a lane to get around these two is the issue, and they're not giving the 98 a lot of room. 98 trying to get on his way to a top 15 finish. Top 10 probably out of the question. It's a long way to Matthew Bell, but still making up whatever he can. This is all happening in front of second place Scioli.
Yeah, a lot of battles even outside the top 10. Positions being swapped by Robertson and Lakatos. Swapping spots for 28th. Senesac, Grant swapping 17th and 18th around. And then you still got, there's the 09 and the 5. They've been side by side. Senesac's on that 2-tire strategy. I believe the 5 of Garrett Grant is, no, he's on the 1-stop strategy.
Oh, there it is! No caution.
And that's definitely going to be caution.
The yellow.
Yep.
There it is.
There it goes.
10 laps to
We were
go.
on
This
such a good
changes
streak.
everything.
And it's no surprise that it's Miller again. That was for,
Isn't he your
that was
driver?
for the... Yeah. That was for... What was that for? The 15th position, 16th position. He's been pinching Greg Mitchell down. Mitchell comes up a little bit. Some contact there. Mitchell does keep coming up, and he kind of pinches Miller into the wall. And that, like we said, that battle was happening right in front of James Scioli. I'm sure he's thankful that the caution did come out because it gets him another shot at the 97.
Curious to see how race control is going to look at that. I think we might rule that as a racing incident. Let's kind of race for the same piece of real estate. And there goes Scioli. Whoa, almost got turned by Bryce Senesac in behind. That was close.
Plenty of drivers avoided chaos there.
Oh, yeah. And I imagine we're going to see everyone down on pit lane.
Yeah, for sure. The good thing for Scioli, Hunter, is that there were really no lap cars in between the 97 and 7, so Scioli has a fair shot to maybe beat the 97 off of pit road. Everyone else...
Look for 2. Someone in this top 5 is going to take 2. If they don't, I'd be shocked.
I wonder if anyone stays out. That would be crazy.
Yeah, no, I think if you stay out, it's a suicide mission. Because you're going to struggle on the restart, and then the grip is just going to be nowhere near compared to everyone else. So you're going to want at least 2 tires. You're just going to risk it, though.
I think the 6 of Munsell, you have to risk it, taking 2.
Here, is that Beckner? No, he's
Beckner
coming to a stall.
into
He's
his box.
race off pit lane. What's it going to be?
Looks like 4 for everyone. Zach Carr is off and away, and no change. Tries to get beat out by Scioli. It was close.
That could have been the most stressful part of the race for Zach, honestly. He had it. He just got him. But that could have easily been the most stressful part of the race because he would hate to have lost it on pit road. But now will probably have about 5 laps to keep the 7 at bay. But you also have Jeff Wright back there, who is very fast short run. It's a lot of players back in this. Philip Groner up to 4th. I mean, he's got a solid race, and now he's in a position to fight. This changes a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm shocked that we didn't see any 2-tire stops. I mean, unless they're banking on caution after caution, which very well could happen. But in the short term, especially with this, if you're running in the back, like say Andrew Payne, you're running 30th in points or 33rd in points. You're basically going out there just trying to get a win at that point. So might as well just take 2 to throw everything off. And if you don't get it, oh well. Just make sure you don't wreck the car, but I'm shocked we didn't see at least 1 guy take 2.
Yeah, a bit surprised as well, but one thing I can guarantee you is that it's going to start getting pretty spicy out there on the racetrack. And guys, you know what's even spicier? Rick's Hot Sauce. Fans, head over to rickhotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series. See which driver will take home the $100 prize, the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. And then also right here, before we get back to green, also want to give a shout out to shop.areaiRacing.com. Race fans, visit shop.areaiRacing.com for some high quality merchandise at low prices. Shop from over 100 selections of t-shirts, hats, champion brand clothing, and more area accessories. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.areairacing.com as we get the field stacked up and ready to go. Guys, do you think this is the last caution?
I don't think so. It's going to be a very slick restart, I would think, and you have a lot of drivers that just took the wave around. 15th to 25th all took the wave, so you have a lot of drivers on old tires battling at the back. I would not be shocked if we get in the green white checker territory. Look at all these wave arounds.
I think we're probably going green to the end. The only reason we don't is if someone from 20th on back wrecks, which very likely could happen.
We'll see. I'm kind of in the middle. I feel like we might see this go clean. It depends on how things are going to play out, though, with so few laps left on the clock. 5 laps to be exact. The pace car will go off the track. We'll see if it will be for the last time. Field in control of Zach Carr. James Scully back up there. This is going to be a Duke and a dive out for the finish. Here we go back green at Rockingham. Zach Carr, great restart for him. James Scully, not so much. Here comes Philip Groner on the 11 or on the outside.
Oh, he tried to get to the right rear in turn number 1, but he just couldn't do it. Now he's going to be in a battle for third with Jeff Wright, so he might still gain a position out of this. As 4 to go next time by. Car to the bottom of the racetrack. The 7's going to run the top side as Jeff Wright back into third, and here comes Andrew Payne for fourth.
Oh, spin!
And
that's below the racetrack.
Oh!
That's not going to be a yellow. Oh, that is a yellow.
It was a yellow. Huge hit.
Surprisingly, that is a caution, even though it's below the racing surface, Finney. We've seen that time and time and again where it hasn't been a yellow all night up until this point.
Yeah, I think it also depends if a bunch of
enough.
It also depends if enough cars are around it. So yeah, I think and like you said, Connor was around it. Oh, so he was around enough as he gets the worst piece of wall that that juts out there right at the last second, and it's all on his own, unfortunately. They right on board with the 88.
You see, he goes over the bumps right there,
Yeah.
and 28 kind of came up, maybe took air off the nose and unsettled the car. And I think Beckner got into him, but a huge hit to the inside wall. Beckner got into him after Anasogak went sliding, so add on more front end damage. It's not been his night. So you got a good view of what the 88 does into the corner.
Beckner himself was a little bit sideways, so he narrowly avoided disaster as well. Trying to push him. 88 hit that wall a ton. And we'll go back live. And this is great news for all the drivers that took the wave around. They're all on pit road getting fresh tires now.
It won't be an advantage. Alex Weaver gets the free pass at the same time, so they won't be at much of an advantage, but at least they can maybe battle some other drivers in front of them at this point. And this includes Blaze McKinney. He's finally going to be on somewhat even tires, maybe in the top 15, probably in the top 20.
I probably would have taken 2 there.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been the worst call there, especially since the track's cooling.
Yeah, just to get some track position, something going in the right direction, so... He's off and will be back in 25th, unfortunately, but he's just kind of hoping. I think he's just hoping for this race to be done with at this point. As you look back at the leaders, no real change for them under green. We saw Zach Carr have a great restart. James Scully, not as much, and not sure if there's really anything he can do to improve that. Then it's Jeff Wright, Andrew Payne, Philip Groner. Groner lost, I think, a couple of spots there in that exchange on the second half of the lap, so he's back in 5th now. Munsell, Nichols, Okrezik, Furness, and Bell, your top 10.
And that's as long as Zachary Carr does that again, he should be good. In 2 laps, especially now, it's going to be so tough for James Scully to do anything without getting overly physical. So I would not be surprised. I would think Carr probably takes the outside again. Groner lost the 1 spot to Andrew Payne there. We'll see if Payne starts 4th and Carr takes the top. He'd be in line to get the jump on the 7. We'll see if he can do anything to get a top 3 tonight.
Should be getting the 1 to green next time by. And well, gentlemen, I know it's been a while, but how have your picks been doing?
Mine wrecked on lap 1, so.
That's right. Did I pick? Oh gosh, now I'm blanking on who I picked. I picked Jeff Wright. He's been.
Yes.
He's not been the fastest night, but he's been top. He's been pretty much 3rd all night. So it's all right pick.
He's been up
And
there
you
in the
picked the
mix.
7?
I picked the 7 of Scioli, and unfortunately, none of us saw Zach Carr was going to come through the field in the late going and not really fall out from there. He's been keeping it strong up there. He's got 1 more restart probably than he would have liked. to have to get this going, although there's still the chance we could get more restarts. We have 3 attempts at a green-white checker. This will be attempt number 1. And for Zach Carr, I think he's going to hope it's going to be the only one. And I think if we can get off of turns 3 and 4 after the first lap, we should be good. It just depends on how hard these guys are going to push their tires, push the grip here. And actually speaking, let's get a quick update on the weather. The track has cooled down to 96 degrees on the track, but the intensity, I think, is going to definitely heat up here with a 2-lap shootout. James Kelly, does he have anything for the 97 of Zach Carr? He's been trying to chase all throughout the second half of this race. Pace car off once more. 2 laps to go as we head into overtime. And Zach Carr has control of the field once more. Into the restart zone we go. Green flag will be back in the air here at Rockingham.
Boy, that was right away. He did not waste any time getting going there. Clear of the 7, clear of the 77. They're almost 3 wide in the back as Jeff Wright tries to keep 3rd position. Skyler's got to come up with something in these final 6 corners.
Well, he's going to have to run the outside lane, try to generate some sort of run. Now, these guys are seeing the white flag waving. Looks like we're going to get through. Finian one more time from the rock.
Yeah, one more time to go around Zach Carr, clearing away by a couple tenths of a second for James Scally. It's not going to be too much of anything. Sky's got to look in his mirror. Wright's trying to make a charge here at the end. So is Andrew Payne. A couple cars sideways in the back room, but we're good to go. Justin Munsell making a last dash attempt to work around the outside. Can't quite get it done. Same thing with Scally, but it'll be Zach Carr in the 97. He will take the win here at Rockingham. Scally 2nd, Wright in 3rd, Munsell and Payne 4th and 5th.
Crash after the line. Bryce Senesek and Jeremy Miller. Then a few others might have gotten contact, but drama averted for the 97 of Zachary Carr. That yellow must have made his heart drop, but an area winner.
Yeah, it's his first win, I believe, of his career here in area. First win of the season for sure, as the 97 is getting congratulatory bumps from everyone, even a little earning and whatnot. A little too aggressive there with the celebratory taps. And nonetheless, it's going to make his life a little bit easier. Going to have some bonus points heading into the postseason. He was already 5th in the point standing, so he's already got that out of the way. But a win definitely helps, gives some boosted confidence heading into Texas next week, and clears your mind of Talladega. God forbid anything happens there.
I was going to say, the last thing he wants to probably focus on is trying to get a win at Talladega, but got the win secured here. We'll light him up, burn the tires down to the carcass. You'll have a well-earned celebration there for him. 49 laps led in this race as we will take a look at the rest of our finishing order. Zach Carr, of course, taking the win. Skyley in 2nd, Wright in 3rd, followed by Munsell, Andrew Payne, 4th and 5th, and you got Okrezik, Groner, Nichols, Bell, actually both Bells, Matthew Bell and Alex Bell finishing 9th and 10th.
A lot of drivers there. Pretty much every driver there ran top 10 the entire race. Andrew Payne gets a great finish out of today. John Furness 11th. Beckner recovers for a 12th, and with all that front end damage, I think he'll take a 12th place out of that. So I think it's his first finish in the 11th to 20th range this season. Slate, DeWeese, Robertson, top 15. That's DeWeese's worst finish of the season, but still top 15 in every race so far. Then Grant, Miller, Fambro, Bryson, and Blaze McKinney with a drive-through, and not many yellows got to the top 20 at the end.
Yeah, the pole sitter doesn't get the luck drawn there as Casey Lacanas comes home in 21st. Greg Mitchell, Brody Falliker, Weaver, Senesac in the top 25. And then Matt Kemp, Josana Sogak, David Weishart, Ben Pierce, and Bronson Stafford round out the top 30.
And moving on back to our last 2 finishers, Shane Terrian and Shane Abbey. Unfortunately for the Shanes, not too well of an evening for them, 31st and 32nd respectively. Well, let's get through our top 3. First driver we're going to be talking to is Jeff Wright in the 48. Jeff Wright, well, for you, I don't want to say you had a too terribly entertaining day. You were kind of lurking there, always inside the top 5. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get up there near the end. Walk us through how your race went.
Yeah, we started top 5 and, just tried to basically take care of it, and just be there. I don't think we had race-winning speed at all to compete with Zach or James. Thought that was pretty evident that first run, but the strategy kept us in it. And, that's just a big shout out to the spotter and crew, Reggie Ortega, up on the box. So he was making all the calls, and to decided, when to pit, and we really started struggling there towards the end of that first run. And he kind of made the call to come down pit lane a little bit earlier and stop the bleeding, and it all worked out. Top 3 here, couldn't be more stoked.
Well, got to see Reggie, your buddy, is up there in the booth with you calling the shots. So solid run for the 48 machine. And as we head off into the later parts of the season, I think up next is going to be Texas, which got moved from the beginning part of the season. Are you looking forward to Texas or Talladega more before we head into the postseason?
Yeah, probably Texas, and that's probably crazy to sound just because I don't really like the new layout of Texas. I mean, I don't really think anybody does. But at least, I feel like at Texas you can still kind of somewhat control your own destiny. So looking forward to that, hoping to go there and get another solid run. Hopefully maybe can put it in the top 5 again. That'd be awesome, especially with the point situation. So I know we were kind of tight on that, top 20 bubble, and with having to win, we need to stay inside the top 20 to make that make the chase. So goal there is just go there, have another solid run, try to stay out of trouble, and then that should make Talladega a little bit easier if we can build up a cushion. So that's the plan for that.
All right, well, Jeff, was a solid run for you and your team. Congrats on a 3rd place finish, and good luck next week.
All right, thanks, guys. And just a big thanks to all the guys at Central United, Kyle, Noah, and everybody else. And Reggie again for helping me with these great finishes.
All right, and with that, we'll move on to our 2nd place finisher, James Scully. James, you saw that you were the man to beat in the first half of this race, leading up near the front. Then all of a sudden, almost out of nowhere, the 97 of Zach car came up past you, and unfortunately, just never could quite get back there.
Yeah, great run from Zach. Just killer on the long run, and obviously we had that huge run in kind of the middle portion of the race there. So just unfortunate to not have that long run pace, but Zach was just on it and kind of undercut him by about 5 laps. I don't know that I got on and off pit road very well, and probably just came out in some traffic and sacrificed a little bit of time. I still think he would have got me. So once he got to me, I knew. I mean, he had like 5 lap pressure tires, and there was so much time left that there was no point in trying to put up a fight. I would have just killed my tires and probably fell further back. So just kind of damage limitation at that point. Was hoping that first green white checkered was going to go green, because I got a pretty good run off the top side in 3 and 4, and then the yellow came out. So I think if that one would have went green, I maybe would have had a chance into 1 and 2, or if I ripped the top in 1 and 2, maybe try and give him a little bump and run, or rip the top in 3 and 4 and see what we can make happen. So just unfortunate that didn't play out, but definitely happy to still get P2. Was up front the whole race, so felt good.
Yeah, definitely a solid run regardless, but looking at strategy, we're kind of hoping more for some shorter runs. We're expecting it to be shorter runs. We're expecting maybe a chance of a long green flag run, what we ended up having.
I was kind of expecting more people to try the 2-stop after Tuesday night's race. So I was surprised to see. I was just kind of trying to cover the guys close to me up at the front, and everybody stayed committed to the 1-stop, and I was surprised to see it stay as fast as it did. We kind of fell off to about 26 O's and then stayed pretty similar to there for the rest of the run. So I think that's why they just didn't gain too much time with the 2-stop there.
All right, well, James, solid finish for you in 2nd place for you and your team. Best of luck heading into next week at Texas.
Thanks, guys. Want to shout out you guys for the broadcast, the admin team for letting us race. Hopefully kept it pretty clean for them tonight. Hopefully they don't have to work too much overtime. And then a big shout out Rick's Hot Sauce, Code Skyley, get you $7 off there. Daniel's Candles, Butt Kicker, Matco Tools, Chris Sports Cards, Roger Grayson Development, Elwood Designs for being on the car as well. And we'll hopefully be talking to you guys next week.
All right, we'll see if we do. Thanks for talking to us, James.
Thanks, guys.
And last, but certainly not least, talking to our race winner, Zach Carr, in the number 97 machine. Zach, honestly, I'm not going to lie, you weren't really on my radar at the start of this race, and then you slowly worked your way up there in the 97 and just took the lead, and like I told Scala, you just never look back.
Yeah, no, honestly, I wasn't even on the radar for myself. I didn't really know what I was getting into here at Rockingham, but it was kind of like a moment where, like, about 10-15 laps in that first run, I realized my tires were hooking up through the center better than most people, so I just kind of let the car do its own thing for that first run and just kind of learn what I had to do to let the car not, completely burn off the tires. So, and then just try to repeat that second run and until we got that late race caution.
Yeah, and so I was asking James, for him, he was kind of hoping for maybe some more shorter runs. Were you expecting there to be shorter runs, or were you kind of hoping that maybe there would be a long run to kind of get yourself going in the right direction?
See, to be honest, I was actually hoping for the long runs, because on the short run, you can kind of run that top lane in 3 and 4 and get a big run down the straightaway off into 1 and 2. And I'll be honest, I can't run it. Every time I'd go up there, I'd get really loose or just push straight tight off into the wall. So my best bet was staying on the bottom. So I needed a lot of green flag laps to make that happen.
All right, well, Zach, it was a really hard-fought win for you. Great performance from the 97 car, and now another winner, the 7th different winner this season in the Area Pro Series.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, with that, I'll be wrapping up interviews here from Rockingham, guys. It was a fantastic race, a really solid green flag run in the middle of the race. Could be argued that probably shouldn't have been as long of a green flag run as it was, but we saw a lot of different strategies being thrown at the wall, and for some people working out, some people not so much.
Yeah, very interesting race, because we did have a lot of mini incidents that didn't bring out the yellow until pretty much 10 laps to go. I think that I'm sure Zachary Carr is thankful for that, because if we didn't get those long runs, he might not get to the front, because that's where he really shined. I think the 7 had better short run pace. He almost got him at the end before the Anna Sogak yellow, but the 97 just so fast on the long run. Just came out of nowhere for a lot of drivers. I'm not even sure if the 7 was expecting it, but now we got to focus up. Our 7th different winner, and there's a real possibility we get our 8th and 9th at some point in these next 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, I should say. No, it is 2 weeks, Hunter.
Yeah, and a big development here, as after that finish that Jeff Wright had, he is now inside the top 20 in points. So with that win, if he stays inside the top 20, has a good run at Texas next week, he'll be locked into the postseason. So that adds another dynamic to the playoffs, with Zach Carr also winning a race. So that's going to be, actually, no, I was looking at, my apologies, I was looking at the point standings following Chicagoland. Nonetheless, Jeff Wright he's up 5 spots actually in points after that. So he went from being 22nd in points 2 weeks ago to 11th now with a win under his belt. So that's another strong run there. Zach Nichols fell back 9 spots in points. That's not good for him at all. Looking at some big movers up on the points as well. Mentioned Scioli, he came up short, but have a good feeling for Texas. He'll be up another spot in points. Okrezik, Furness, +2 each in points. Alex Bell, +3 in points. Really going to be interesting with this cutoff race that we're heading to 2 weeks from now. But focusing on Texas, everything's bigger in Texas, and area so big that with its off week, the Pro Series is going to be the biggest race of the week. So looking forward to that and how that unfolds. But already looking at Scioli, who's dominant on these mile and a halves.
Yeah, it's about to say that we're heading to Texas. It'll be the only race for the All Area Series heading into next week. Of course, Texas being moved from the second race season back here after, I think it was the DDoS attacks that happened with iRacing got delayed. So, heading there for Texas on October 3rd, and that will be the penultimate round, not this round. That will be the penultimate round of the regular season. Before we head off to Talladega, that's going to be the wild card of wild cards. So, definitely stay tuned in for that and the action to come from there. But for now, my name is Funakuna here with Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy, and we'll be wrapping it up here from Rockingham tonight. Thank you so much for watching.